light, our life, our faith.
The raw, the real, and the relatable.
This is Be the Light podcast with your host.
I'm Marissa.
And I'm Sierra.
And we are back. Welcome back to Be the Light podcast.
Hello.
How are you?
I am finally on the up.
Nice.
I had a little stomach bug last weekend that took me out for like 3 days, which was weird because I don't get sick really, and when I do, I can usually power through, but this one took a toll on me.
I didn't know you had a stomach bug. That's crazy. So Tan got sick this weekend too. I didn't know.
This was 2 weekends ago, not this past weekend.
Okay. I didn't know like what was going on. He said he ate the taco truck and then he kind of felt like crap and then he got chills, and then Saturday he woke up and he was like no good.
Well, I think mine was more food poisoning than
that's what I told him. I
than
thought
a
his
stomach
was
bug
too.
actually, because I ate some like leftover pizza. I didn't think it was that old. But Jordan said it was a few days old. So. But and then like when I finally, so Sunday night was when I ate the pizza, and then it was like that night, and Monday was just awful. Like I felt okay, like I could have gone to work, but I was just more so nervous to not be around a bathroom when I needed it, if you know what I mean. So I stayed home till about noon on Monday, and then I got out and did like a little bit, and then Tuesday I got up and went to work, but I would never have like felt so weak and just like exhausted, and I was sure I was probably a little dehydrated too. So I'm so thankful to be over that.
Yeah, no. I always tell people, I'm like, I much rather have like strep throat or something versus a stomach bug. I don't know why, but a stomach bug will put me out. Like the body aches are terrible.
Oh, well, and I don't get sick, so
right.
Like, it just threw me off. Like, what is happening here?
Yeah. I don't do well being sick. Like, I'm going to be the first one to tell y'all I'm the biggest baby when I'm sick. Like, I don't like to be sick. Like, I like to feel good. So when I'm sick, it's like I'm already beating myself up because I can't do whatever it is I had planned to do.
Yeah.
Then I feel like crap. So, like, and on top of, you still have responsibilities that have to be handled. So it's like, I don't know. I just don't do well being sick. Tanner's like, oh gosh, you're going to get sick. You're going to be whining all the time. Like, no, I'm not, but whatever. Yeah, I always tell people, I'm like, I don't do well being sick, so I don't know how I'm going to be if I ever get pregnant. Like, I don't think I'll like that.
Well, so, typically, if I'm sick in the past, it's because it's been a hangover.
Right.
Because there for a while, like, it was like, anytime I would drink, I would get a hangover. And so, but I'm getting better.
That's exactly how I am now, honestly.
We're getting better. But I remember I was like, I don't know how I could be a mom. Could you imagine having a hangover and having a kid?
And still having to wake up? Yeah.
No thank you.
I couldn't. Hangovers are the worst. I don't know. Like, I guess, like, I don't know. I don't want to say the older you get, the harder it gets, because, like, I don't know if that's true or if it's, like, me more so being more conscious of what I put in my body. But, like, I can drink 3 beers and wake up feeling like, ooh, like I'm on a slight bit of a hangover. Like, what is wrong with me? I just had 3 drinks. You know, it's weird. It's insane.
Yeah.
They're the worst.
I think they definitely get worse as you get older.
Oh, for sure. But then again, you see some of these older people that can drink like a fish and like be fine and just wake up and, I mean, I'm not saying that's a good thing, but.
Well, they probably, years of practice.
Yeah. That's fine. It's okay.
Well, I've had years of practice, and they don't seem to
get
any easier.
Seems to be getting worse.
Probably. Yeah.
A good
I seem to
thing.
be getting more hangovers as I get older, but.
I agree.
That's fine.
Well, let's see. Since we have been back together, what has happened? I started 75 Hard 7 days ago.
How's that going?
It's going. I had this dilemma. I don't know why.
Tell us what 75 Hard is.
Okay, so 75 Hard was created by Andy Frisella.
She knows the details.
Yeah, I listen to him. Okay, he has a podcast. I listen to him every day. It's Andy Frisella's Q&AF. His questions and answers. He's kind of hardcore, so if you're not like, and he cusses a lot, I'm going to be honest, so if you don't need that like hardcore motivation and if you can't listen to a lot of cussing, then maybe that's not the podcast for you, but sometimes I need somebody to tell me to get my crap together, and he is the man. So he started this couple years ago or something like that. And basically, it's 75 days. You read 10 pages per day of a nonfiction book, work out twice a day. One workout has to be outside, 45 minutes long, a progress picture each day, some kind of diet, meal plan, something like that. No alcohol. Did I forget anything? Nope, that's it. And I've tried this last year twice, and I failed right around day like 20, 25, something like that. And it was all because of the my nose is red. It was all because of the progress picture. And yeah, and I was like, okay, I'm not doing this again because summer started coming around, and so I was like, I'll retry it again next year. Well, I decided earlier this year that I wanted to retry it, but I had this dilemma because I was like, well, when am I going to do it? And I was like, just start. But then I was like, well, we're going to the beach at the end of April.
That's what was my next question. Is this going to interfere with our beach trip?
Yes, it is. It 100% is. And I mean, it's not going to interfere in a bad way. In a positive way, I guess I just can't drink alcohol there. And so I was like, in this dilemma of, should I wait till after the beach to start it, you know, just in case I want to drink, which I haven't been drinking in general, but I guess it's just having that limitation of not being able to. So I kind of had that dilemma backwards and forth, and the other part of me was like, just start, because if I started when I did, which was last Monday, I'll be done by June 10th. If I waited any longer, then I'll go all summer. Yeah, so I was like, I have to weigh out my options. I haven't even drank really this year. I probably drank 2 or 3 times this year.
Yeah.
So like, why was I having this dilemma of like not wanting to start because I won't be able to drink? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It was really weird, but I told myself I'm just going to start anyways. And honestly, it was what exactly I needed. I needed a swift kick in the behind to get my body like going again. Cause I'm like, I function well with structure and like with consistency and discipline in my schedule. And there for a minute, I got kind of lazy and got kind of just my routine became very monotonous, I guess. And I needed to switch something up. So having this, I guess accountability in a sense in my schedule really helped me. And I've seen so much positiveness in the last week, like just in a week. It's crazy.
Well, and even if you do decide to have a drink at the beach,
I have to start over.
You don't have to.
Yes, I do.
Nope. You can have grace.
Andrew Priscilla does not have grace in 7500, unfortunately.
Well, I'm not gonna.
The Lord has grace, but I feel you. I literally thought, I was like, well, I can have like, if I didn't drink a beer, I could do like some kind of mixed drink. And I was like, no. The whole purpose of it is for me to. So I'm just telling myself, nope, not at all until June 10th. So. Okay. But yeah, so that was my dilemma because I was literally fighting myself. And then the other part of me was like, all right, stop fighting yourself. Just do it, you know? And if you screw up, then guess what? You got to start over if you want to. Like if I want to, you know what I'm saying? So we'll see how it goes.
You can do it.
Yeah.
You can do it.
It'll be fine. So what's new with you?
Let me look at my notes. Well, we're sitting in something that's new.
Yes. I mean, if you guys could not tell, there's a new background.
Well, if you're listening on the podcast,
that's
go
true.
over to the YouTube and you will see that we are in a new studio.
And it's so cute.
It is so cute. And it all just came together so effortlessly. It's just, like, it could only be God.
Oh, for sure. All we had to do was, like, continue to do what we were called to do.
And we just were like, we said we needed a couch, and then we got a couch, and
that just goes to remind me of like how much power we really have in what we say. If you think about it, like almost anything I've ever said that I was going to do or wanted to do, I'm either doing or on the path to doing. And even if I don't know, like if I'm ever going to get there, because sometimes, you know, goals can seem so far away that it doesn't seem like you're ever going to get there. But then you look back and you're like walking in the midst of what you talked about 4 years ago, which is kind of scary and crazy.
Well, and you touched on that in the last episode, I think, when you were just talking about what you speak out there. If you walk around and complain the whole time, then it's probably not going to get any better for you.
Right.
Until you change that mindset and what you're putting out into the world.
Right.
Speaking of just people not understanding the power in what you say, I think everybody knows what happened in Nashville this past week. A week from today when we're recording, there was a school shooting. And, I mean, I don't really know what else to say. Or, I mean, we have to do something. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But I've just been hearing a lot of people discrediting the power of prayer around this. People are saying, because of course you say you can pray for those families and keep those families in your thoughts, and people are saying, like, well, that's just not enough anymore. Well, that's exactly what the enemy wants.
Right.
That's exactly what he wants.
Right.
So we cannot be silent in prayer. Like, we have to continue to pray because there is power in prayer. I've seen it.
Well, I mean, if prayer isn't enough, then what actually is? Because in all honesty, it's not stopping.
Well, I was listening to a podcast that it's Shawn Johnson. She was a gymnast, and her husband, who was an NFL player, and they have a couple of young kids, and they live here in the Nashville area, and apparently in that neighborhood, and they know a lot of people that had kids that went to school there, and so they have a podcast, and so they got on and had one of the social workers or something for one of the groups that are helping out over there. I shared it on my Facebook, so if you want to go check it out, you can. But the lady was saying the therapist was at the reconnecting site where the kids met up with their parents once they got out, and she said that it was like at the end of the day and everyone had left, and she was just just hunched over and just like exhaustion and grief, and she looked up and there was the school sign for Easter, and she was like, it's the cross. That's the only hope that we have.
Right.
Is the cross.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of Easter, yesterday was Palm Sunday. We have our palms in the studio. Go over to the YouTube so you can see. I just think it is kind of crazy how it lined up with Easter. It's
right.
It makes it kind of hard to celebrate and stuff like that, but we can't forget what Easter means. It's our hope. It's our life after death,
Right.
And yeah, I don't really know what else to say other than we just have to have hope and faith that there's purpose in the pain, and
for sure
He uses all things for good.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, y'all, I don't really have a whole lot I feel like I can say about that. I don't know, because I feel like I could look at it in a personal matter, and like that's, there's pain and suffering everywhere. There's gonna be stuff like this all the time, so I don't know, like I don't really have, because what I say I feel like is not the best advice, but it's just everybody handles everything differently and they take it differently.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the main important thing is the power of prayer in this,
That, and I think when something like this happens, it's so, you see community rally around each other, and that's, I think, at least one thing we can take out of it.
Right.
If nothing else.
Right.
You see, people helping in ways that you wouldn't necessarily think someone would, and
yeah, I think a lot of times,
and just honestly just reaching out and to these people, anyone who's been affected by it,
yeah,
and just letting them know that they're not alone. And
yeah, I agree. I just feel like, though, people forget, like, don't get me wrong, there was a suspect in this matter, but whenever you look at it in a worldly matter, which we all do when things like this happen, you also forget what the spiritual realm and what's going on inside that person's life.
Mm-hmm.
Inside, like there's it's so much more. I'm not saying the whole situation was screwed up, but like, we also got to pray for the suspect and the suspect family too, because
that's a life.
They were battling some things that we can't even imagine right now, and what they did was by far not right. But they need prayer too.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, everything is a battle between good and evil, you know, and unfortunately, like, a life was lost in evil, several lives, and yeah, that's why I think it's, honestly, if we can do anything, it's to just, you never know what people are going through, what their last straw is.
Right.
You never know what, like, your kindness could do to either stop, or what, you know, if you're not kind to somebody, how that could send somebody over the edge. So if we can do anything, it starts with ourselves.
100%. Yep. And it starts just with extending that grace and that love to everybody. Every day.
Everybody.
It doesn't matter. They don't have to walk the same walk as you. They don't have to look like you, act like you. They don't even have to think like you. Like, there's so much power in diversity and different perspectives, you know. And on my way here, which is crazy because I was literally like typing these words and stuff. On my way here, I had this, I guess, vision in a sense. I was listening to this podcast by Tim Ross and Michael Todd, and he was just talking about how different they were, but when they come together, they complete each other in a sense of, like, they're different pastors. They have different, they're completely different. Like, they look different, they dress different, they talk different, but when they come together, the power in their unity. And I was like, it's just like a puzzle. No piece is the same.
Yeah.
But every piece is important in order for the big picture.
Right.
And so why would you want to be the same piece as another piece? You're not going to fit.
It takes all kinds of kinds.
It takes all kinds.
That's what I say.
There's so much power in being different and bouncing off different perspectives because, truth be told, you're not going to grow when somebody's telling you the same thing you already know.
It's so true.
So.
And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who or what they do. Like, Jesus is going to wash their feet too. And I think that's what it comes down to.
Exactly. And in all honesty, like, if we want that grace and mercy from Him every day, like, we have to extend that to other people, you know?
Amen.
So, anything else you need to get caught up on?
Well, with Easter coming up, Palm Sunday was yesterday, so now we are finished with the Lent season. Jesus has made His triumphal entry into Jerusalem. How'd your Lent journey go?
That's crazy. I was thinking about it this morning. I'm going to be honest, y'all. It didn't go good. This time did not go good. Last year, I was really hard on myself, so I'm going to say it
was your phone, right? Was your thing?
Yes.
Okay.
It did, but, I mean, it's made progress, but it wasn't, like, completely, like, cut ties, not doing it. You know what I'm saying? Fine. So, I don't know. I'm really such a hard person on myself, too. And I feel like last year I was really hard on myself when I messed up. This year I gave myself maybe a little too much grace. So, but honestly, like, I realized I went on there this morning onto my social media and there was some messages I missed. And I was like, I reached out to some people and gave them my number. And I'm like, hey, I don't want you to think I'm ignoring you, but, like, I'm trying to not be on here at all.
Yeah.
So, like, just call me, text me, do something, but, like, I'm trying to be as distant as possible. So I've seen some progress in that because I didn't realize, like, all those messages I had or whatever. But it's still, in all honesty, I don't want to be on there at all.
Yeah. Well, it's hard whenever we're, like, doing this stuff.
Right.
And, like, in the world we live in, you know, you just kind of have to be plugged in a little bit. But speaking, I got a story on that in 1 second. But maybe you just, like, set, like, a 30-minute hour window or something a day or whatever.
Especially to check, like, the pod stuff.
Yeah,
that's
just
really
to do business. Like, you don't even really, and especially if we're gonna do this podcast, we do have to stay somewhat relevant.
For sure.
So, and I feel like I don't like being on there either. I usually just get on to do podcast stuff, like, for the church, and I'll scroll for, like, a few minutes, and then I'll inevitably will see something that just, like, starts to interfere with my peace, and I'm protecting my peace these days, so I get off of it.
Yeah, I definitely have. I've seen so much more, like, peace and calmness in myself with not being on there. Yeah. And, like, and even with, like, also trying to figure out what it is exactly I'm supposed to be doing, because, like, and not that I'm not walking in what I'm supposed to be doing, but I think that I have many gifts and tools or whatever that I can utilize and that I'm called to do. But, like, a lot of times I can get on there and compare myself to, like, oh, I should be doing this and I should be doing this, and then I feel like I have this pressure and I just don't have that anymore. Now it's like I know what I should be doing here, and if I don't know here, then I'm going to figure it out. I know I'm in the walk to get to where I'm supposed to be going. So it's just a lot of pressure. I can't imagine the kids these days.
Oh.
Because I'm going to be honest, like, we had it rough kind of growing up in a sense. Kids have it rough growing up in general.
Mm-hmm.
But these kids these days, what they have to grow up in with the amount of social media, like, it's so much pressure for us as adults. Like, I cannot imagine just being a kid and, like, having to grow up with
and
that.
Then, just having all that in your face so instantly and so early now.
So early.
These 9-year-olds with smartphones. Why does an 8-year-old need a smartphone?
I will say, if your child is in sports...
Okay, get them a track phone. That's what I had.
I was going to say, and they only have it when they're not with me. When they're at home, or they don't need a phone.
I mean, we're not parents, but...
That's true.
But you're not going to convince me that an 8-year-old needs an iPhone.
No. Absolutely not. You need a phone whenever you're not with me, so you can call me. But whenever we're home or whatever, you don't have a phone. You don't need a phone. You don't need a phone.
Yeah, what... Everybody you need to contact is in
right
this
here.
room, so you don't need a phone.
Yeah. Or use my phone to call your little friend, because we're going to take a break.
Hey, y'all, don't forget to email in at bethelightpod@gmail.com. Love you. Bye.
Okay. Technical difficulties. Video, action. It's good. We'll just keep going.
Okay.
I'll just edit the video.
The YouTube wasn't started.
Yeah. Sorry, YouTube, you missed not much. Okay. So I'm reading from Mark 11. This is what happened the Monday before Jesus was crucified. Okay, he noticed a leafy fig tree in the distance, so he walked over to see if there was any fruit on it, but there was none, only leaves, for it was not yet the season for bearing figs. Jesus spoke to the fig tree, saying, "No one will ever eat fruit from you again." And the disciples overheard him. When they came into Jerusalem, Jesus went directly into the temple area and overturned all the tables and benches of the merchants who were doing business there. One by one, he drove them all out of the temple courts, and they scattered away, including the money changers and those selling doves. And he would not allow them to use the temple courts as a thoroughfare for carrying their merchandise and their furniture. Then he began to teach the people, saying, "Does not the scripture say, 'My house will be a house of prayer for all the world to share'? But you have made it a hangout of thieves." When the chief priests and religious scholars heard this, they began to hatch a plot as to how they could eliminate Jesus. But they feared him and his influence, because the entire crowd was totally captivated by his teaching. So he and his disciples spent the nights outside the city. Sounds familiar.
It does.
What does that make you think of? Our church today?
Yeah. Literally. Like, just life today in general, I guess.
It's focused on material things, worldly things, are what motivate people, money.
And which I don't feel like we're not bad for, I mean, he obviously puts these desires on our heart for a reason, but I feel like it's always the motive of the heart which matters, you know.
So it always comes
if
down
it's
to.
Coming from a place of being servanthood and giving, then it's fine, you know. Like, I feel like there's nothing wrong with me wanting to make X amount of dollars in life one day, you know. People always say money is the rule of all evil, but I think it's the intent behind the money, because the Lord wouldn't bless you with millions and make you a millionaire if you weren't responsible with few.
Does your security come from your money or
the Lord,
or your faith in life after death? Which, in this little note in my Passion translation that I just read from, it talks about the part where the fig tree is a symbol of Israel's religious system of that day. It was a fruitless tree. Like, what, you can make your church look good, and you can spend all this money and do all these things, but at the end of the day, if you're not producing fruit for the kingdom, what are you doing? Right.
And I feel like there's a lot of churches out there like that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'd say so. We just have to come back, like, there's a huge church here in town, actually, that I've driven past it a million times, but the other day I drove past it and was like, oh my God. Like, I don't know, it just, like, hit me, the, like, vastness of this church, and, like, so I was with Jordan. I was like, we should go to a service there one Sunday. And he was like, why? And I was like, well, if they're spending all this money doing all these things to get people to come there, what are they telling them when they get there?
Right.
That's what I want to know.
Right.
Just curious.
Good. That's good.
Yeah.
I think it's important to kind of branch out and try different different churches in general anyways.
I think so too.
And well, I was a kid, so like I branched out.
Well, like
I guess
you said earlier,
friends.
if everyone's telling you the same thing over and over, you're not growing.
You're not growing.
You're not.
If somebody's going to continue and y'all are, you can't.
Right,
You
because
only grow when adversity hits.
God made us all so different, and He made all these different corners of the world, and we're not all meant to be the same.
Mm-mm.
Like,
we're not all even meant to think the same.
no, like, so that's why I'm so excited to travel, to go to Israel, to just get a taste of what it's like outside of America, because we have our own issues, of course, obviously, but we got it pretty good.
Yeah.
Compared to
other places
out there.
For sure. I agree.
What else you got?
Let's see. Let me look at my notes because I did have some good notes, y'all.
While she's looking at her notes, I'll do a little small business shout out real quick. Jordan's birthday was a few days ago, and we went and celebrated. And his parents got him a gift from a small business of one of their friends, and he makes his own fishing tackle. So if you're listening on YouTube, I'm showing some of the stuff that he makes. It's called Backyard Baits. Glory to God. I love that. It's Warren Brent is his name, and you can find them on Facebook at Backyard Baits TN. But he's got these little jig head hooks.
Let me see that.
Makes his own, like he makes all these himself, some soft plastics.
How
I know,
cool.
like
Tanner like these.
And his own jigs, chatterbait, and crappie lures. I know we have a large female audience, so girls, if you need like a gift for your man, or hey, if you like to go fishing too.
True.
It was so cool. I love this. So check him out.
Yeah, I love that.
Backyard Baits.
Okay, so in my notes, this just goes back to I don't know why I'm feeling like I'm stuck on this puzzle, but it's like it was a clear picture to me on the way here. Maybe that's why, because I was telling the Holy Spirit to like guide me in this, and I said, "What do you want me to talk about?" So maybe it's just the fact of like in this world we've created so much disconnect that when someone doesn't connect with us, we think they're not our people, and then that we can't learn from them, we can't grow from them, and then they shouldn't be in our circle, you know? But I find so much power in being connected with different people. And I've always liked culture, like learning about different cultures and stuff like that. But one of the things he said in the podcast was, when you come together, you don't compete, you complete. It doesn't matter if you're not going to be the same. Just like going back to the puzzle, you know, like this piece is not the same as this piece, but it has to fit in order for the entire picture to make sense. And you're not going to make it make sense by just having these two pieces of the puzzle missing the other pieces of the puzzle.
Right.
And so I feel like it's just really important that we are so stuck on people not being our kind of people because they don't think like us, they don't see things like us or whatever, but there's so much power in that.
Yeah. Well, like, just to even think about like a puzzle, if all your puzzle pieces were square cut,
it wouldn't be a puzzle.
It would be, you'd be done in like 2 seconds. It wouldn't be any fun or anything like that or exciting. So, and even in the Bible, it talks about how to have, you know, the completeness of your church, you need all these different personalities you need the prophets and the evangelists and the servers and the teachers and all different walks of life. And yeah,
there's power in diversity for sure, as long as you allow it to unify you.
Well, and like that's our call as Christians. Hello, Bear. Our call as Christians is to grow the kingdom, and we're never going to reach everybody if we said there's only one way to do this,
right? Because
there's not.
Well, how would we reach everybody if we were all if over here we're only reaching the people that are the same? We're not reaching everybody.
It tells us to go out and go make disciples, go to the ends of the earth, you know.
Right.
And that's what we got to do. Jesus isn't coming back until the Gentile is saved. So how are we going to figure out who that is if we're just looking at our neighborhood?
Exactly.
And who looks like us?
Exactly.
Because
so
Gentile includes everybody.
Right. And there's so many different people, like, that have just, if you, in all honesty, if y'all could just, and I say y'all as in I'm speaking to myself, like, when I say y'all, I'm preaching to myself too, but, like, if we could just, like, overlook the differences, the worldly differences that we have, like, if, a lot of times we don't even have an opportunity to speak to somebody because we've already judged the way they look before we even go up talking to him. And if we could overlook that aspect, I feel like there's so much that we can learn from different people because everybody is in a different walk of life. Everybody's been on a different journey. Mm-hmm. Everybody has different things. And who knows that this random person at the store that was trying to, you know, speak a little bit to you that you blew off because he didn't dress like you or he smelled a little funny or whatever, you know, like, who knows? The Lord could have used him for whatever it is that you're asking for. But you've blocked that opportunity off because you instantly frowned your nose.
Well, I love what the Bible says about like hospitality, and it says to always welcome because you never know who God is sending as an angel.
Exactly.
Like it could be like an angel of the Lord you're turning away at the door.
And it could be something that you prayed for, and you know, like, this is it, you know, like, this is my last opportunity. Like, Lord, I need you to come through, you know what I'm saying? And he brings the person you least expected, or your enemy, somebody that you've been arguing with or
when it doesn't
with.
look the way you thought it would look.
Exactly. Yeah. Which you've just blocked yourself from that blessing that the Lord's trying to do.
Anytime something comes to you and it seems crazy, not what you would have thought, it's probably God.
It is. It is.
9 times out of 10.
It is. For sure. 100%. I guess that's really what I had on the way here, what I was feeling when it comes to, I felt it really powerful, and I guess, I don't know, it kind of takes me into, last episode, I had a challenge for you guys to encourage, speak something, give something to somebody older and younger. Well, I also battle with, like, I'm an extrovert, but I'm also an introvert. So, like, I'll talk to my people, and I'll talk to you if you're talking to me, but, like, a lot of times I fight a battle of just randomly going out speaking first. And so after we left that episode, and I was driving on the way home, I asked the Holy Spirit to hold me accountable to the challenge, you know, because I wanted to be, like, obviously I spoke it on here, so I wanted to do it. I didn't want to just say it and not do it. But I also knew how I was when it comes to, like, just speaking to random people. And so I'm driving down the road, and there's this red Jeep truck, and it has this sticker on the back. And I don't remember exactly what it said, but it was along the lines of Liberty, God, Bible, Trust, you know, something like that. And I passed him, and I was like, that's a cool sticker. And then I got stopped at a stoplight, and my windows are down, his windows are down, and somebody was telling me, tell him that's a cool sticker. And I was like, no, I'm not yelling at him that that's a cool sticker. He was this older guy, you know, and I'm like, fine. And I was like, leaned over, and I'm like, sir. And he's like listening to his music, and I'm like, okay, don't say anything else. He didn't hear you. And the light is obviously taking long, so I'm like, okay, I have this urge to say it again. And I'm like, sir. And he's still not listening to me. I'm like, all right, Mercy, you tried 3 times, just keep on going. I feel it again, and it's like, no, yell again. And I was like, excuse me, sir. And he, like, looked and, like, turned down his music. He was like, and I was like, I like that sticker at the back. He's like, oh, I'm actually going to pick up some more, you know, graphic designs in Murfreesboro, blah, blah, blah. And, like, we kind of was talking and driving. I was like, thank you, you know, and I could just kind of see, like, the conversation wasn't anything, but it was just a quick little smile on the face, you know, for him and I both. And I was, like, literally thinking to myself, like, I bought that to, like, not do that. So that was my one for my older person. And mind you, I'm not picking these people. Like, I don't, because I don't have that, I guess, courage. The Holy Spirit's picking it for me, and because I told me accountable, so he is. And we go to the duck races, or not duck races, Duck River, Duck River dirt races.
I'm sure there are duck races somewhere in the world.
Yeah, but we went to the dirt races, and Tara and I are just sitting there, and this kid sits down. Like, we're probably 2 bleachers up, and this kid sits down on the very first row. And I don't know, but he turns to me and says something along the lines of, yeah, we do this around here in Tennessee every weekend. And I was like, okay, you know, and I mean, everybody's a different walk of life.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't look like me. He didn't, if I want to be honest, he didn't even look like my people, should I say. You know what I'm saying? But, like, I was like, oh, yeah, okay, this is my first time coming here, you know. He's like, yeah, I've been coming here doing this for so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. And the way he was talking was just like I wasn't from Tennessee. Like, he just did not think I was from Tennessee. I don't know. I guess I looked like I was from Cali or something, but I'm not. But
yeah, because you sound like it.
yeah, I know. No, he was like, so where are you from? And I was like, Tennessee. He's like, huh, Tennessee, here? And I was like, yeah.
Nope,
like,
the other
where?
one.
He's like, whereabouts? And I was like, you know, I grew up in Rutherford County area. He's like, oh, I grew up from about Coffee County to Bedford County or something like that, you know. Just got to talking, and then he said, I don't know what I did, but I, like, kicked my boot up or something like that. And he said, look down at my boot, and I kind of got it because the way he looked at my boot was like, oh no, I don't know what he's going to say. He said, has anybody ever told you you look good in boots? And I was like, oh my goodness. And I was like, thank you. You know, they kind of made me smile. And he's like, I live to make people smile. And like,
aww.
I think he was a little special needs. Like something, he was telling me his grandma works the stand, his mom works the other stand or whatever. And I looked down and I was like, I like your boots too, you know, because I did. And he's like, put them up there, like threw them up on the bleachers. He's like, these are Doc Martens. I was like, oh, well, those are real nice. And so we got to talking a little bit, like kind of just little small talk. But throughout, he started talking about helicopters and choppers and M60, 40s, and they carry 2 Army trucks and a big old gun and 9 passengers. And he knew so much. So much, but it was just crazy how the Lord like picked him for me to like kind of speak into him, and he's like spoken to me too, and I just thought it was crazy. So those were my 2 people.
Brought you so much joy.
Yeah, it was an interesting encounter because at first you don't know how to like take a situation, but then when you look at it, like I didn't even realize like that was who the Lord had picked for me for my like younger person to give them a positive word, you know what I'm saying? And it was just kind of cool how it happened at the most random place, at the dirt races.
Well, when you were talking about the sit next to the guy and like yelling at him and feeling like the urge, and you were like no, and you were like fighting it. That happens to me all the time. I'm like, I'll get the urge to say something to somebody or to walk up to somebody, and and I'm like, oh, no, like no. But Jim actually preached on it yesterday. Let me go back to my notes. He started off just yelling, like just hallelujah, and just talking about how, you know, get loud, be proud, like get loud for Jesus, like. And he said the joy of the Lord is our strength, like. If that's like, you know, be loud about it, like don't be ashamed of it. Be excited about Jesus. And then I'm talking about how it's our joy, like that guy lives to make people smile, and that's what we should do. Said. He I think said that. Like we've been talking about, you know, we all come from different walks of life, but I think we can all humans want the same 3 things, like love, laughter, and joy, right? Like that. If you want to be sad all the time, like, I'm sorry, like I can't help you until you decide you want something different. But I think at the end of the day, like if we can all come down to the basics, if we can agree on the basics, who cares like what the little differences are, right? Because I mean, even I remember like when growing up, my grandparents would be like, well, we just didn't talk about politics or religion or stuff because it was personal, right? It was nobody else's business what I thought about this behind closed doors. Because why? You're not gonna like me, but you liked me before. Yeah, you liked me until you found out who I voted for. Right. What does that matter? I mean, at the end of the day, we have a democracy for a reason, and that's how it is. Right. So, I mean, and like, yeah, we do have a part in all that, but you being rude to somebody because of, like, we're all just trying to be nice here. Right. We're all just trying to get through the day. Let's be real. Like, right? We're just trying to make it to the next day and have a good time while we're here. I mean, life is so short. Like, we're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time, as King George said. Yes. It's literally in my bio. Is it?
I ain't here for a long time. I'm here for a good time.
My bio is, I've got joy because I've got Jesus. I think.
Ooh, that's
Yeah.
good.
It's a song lyric I heard one time and I was like, that's it right
Yep.
there. That's it. The joy of the Lord is my strength.
You were saying earlier, just a second ago, that if you want to be sad or whatever, I can't help you till you want something different. But like, a lot of people are walking around here sad, but people don't realize that anything that you do comes back tenfold.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, the situations and circumstances you're in are probably not ideal. Like, I do not want to be doing the budget every week. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, just some crazy stuff. Or car breakdown or whatever, but at the end of the day, if you still extend that grace and that love and that joy and you give somebody a positive word, think about that one positive word you told somebody at the store. Think about the tenfold that's going to come back to you. It's not going to come back to you instantly through that same person. It's going to come back to you through a whole different round, whole different way. But what you put out will always come back tenfold.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. Just like I think about like Jordan working on a car or something. He, you know, the first time the one screw doesn't turn the right way, he's throwing crap and slamming and, you know, the whole 9 yards. And then from there on, it's like that the whole way through. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying like it's not frustrating, but if, you know, just got to breathe through things like that.
I feel like the more frustrating you get, the more frustrating it gets.
Well, it's because your mind becomes all frazzled and hyper focused on what's going wrong, and you can't rationalize what to do next, and you just it's a spiral.
Mm-hmm. And that's with everything. That's with how you handle stress and everything. You know, like you have to be able to breathe and trust and have faith, and it's hard. It really is, but like, it's also hard to like be stuck in this very dark place and not have that. Mm-hmm. Because like it's just hard. It's hard either way. You have to choose your hard.
Yeah,
you have to choose your hard.
You have to choose your hard
because it's gonna be hard for
either. Like that comes all the way back around to what we were talking about first thing. Is it's always something. Mm-hmm. There's always something.
And how you respond to it is how it's gonna go.
Yep.
For sure. I agree. Cool.
Let's take a break.
Alrighty, we'll be back. Alright, we're back. Just in all honesty, you know, I just feel like I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Just what I'm trying to get at is it's okay to be different. Mm-hmm. And it's okay to have different friends. And it's okay to think differently. Because at the end of the day, in order for your puzzle to be finished, the bigger picture for you have to have different pieces than what you are. Mm-hmm. And so, like, if you don't allow different pieces in, then your puzzle's never going to be complete. And you're constantly going to be like, have you ever tried to complete a puzzle when you're missing a piece? Well, it's hard. It's challenging.
And I know that's just a thing. That's it. Is we're not meant to do it all on our own.
No.
We're not made to have to handle everything that life throws on our own. We need Jesus. We need each other. And we need to quit trying to find the differences between everybody and just find what we can all agree on and come together. It's especially just with everything going on right now, it's everybody's trying to choose a side.
Right. And I feel like, I mean, this is not a government or political podcast, but the government has done a very good job at segregating us into sections, whether it's religion, whether it's class of how much money you make, whether it's how many followers you have on Instagram. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They've done such a good way of segregating us when at the end of the day, we need to be unified so that we can come together to fulfill the bigger purpose and mission.
Yeah. We live in America.
Yep. And you start acting like it.
Yeah.
By God.
Amen. Our forefathers be rolling in their graves.
They already are.
They done a 360 flip and
they're kicking the door open on them.
Yeah, let me out. Let me handle this business.
Well, we are almost ready to finish up the giveaway. We need like 4 more followers. So if y'all haven't went over to our Facebook and our Instagram page, Go check that out. We're trying to get 100 followers on both. We've surpassed the Facebook page.
Check out our t-shirts. You could get one of these.
This is part of the giveaway.
If you're listening, go to the YouTube, subscribe over there. We have so much good stuff coming up. I can feel it. It's gonna be big things. We're gonna get some merch. We're going on trips.
We are.
We're doing things.
Doing things that honestly, like, I wouldn't say like I didn't think about, because I did, but it's like, hold on. Let me go to my notes, because it's basically like, I've always thought like success was on like a certain number I make, or certain money I make, or, you know, anything like that. But on my way here, I realized that success is obedience. The issue with today is people only think big things are successful, but it's doing the small little things that add up to the big things. And as long as you're obedient to the Lord and his calling, then you're successful. And I feel like this is like literally going to show, like, last year I didn't think we'd have a studio. I didn't think we'd have a couch. Like, I didn't think any of this, you know. And it's just like continuing to walk into that anointing that you're called to do is the ultimate success, because success is a journey. It's not a destination. Yeah,
and like we said earlier, I think it comes, like, success is where's your heart at?
Right.
If you're searching for success and money or
validation
or houses or cars or what other people think of, it's never going to be enough.
It's going to always run out.
Yeah, you're always going to be wanting the next big thing and the next shiny thing. Someone's always going to have more than you. You're never going to win in that one. Like I said, what my man Jace always says, coming to Jesus is the only time where you just have to lay it all down and you win.
And you win.
You're successful.
Yep.
That's all it takes. One thing is accepting Jesus.
Yep.
And then, like you said, once you've done that and you're obedient to him, he rewards you in ways that
you can never imagine.
What you ever thought you wanted. What you thought, this is what I need to be successful. The Lord's going to take you far and just blow that completely out of the water.
Way out of proportion. Or blow it way out of your proportion. That's what I meant. Whatever.
It works.
Anyways, I think that's going to be all for the day.
All right. Well, we love you.
See you next week.
Bye. Thank you for listening to Be the Light podcast. Be sure to find us on Facebook and Instagram. Email us at bethelightpod@gmail.com. Subscribe on YouTube. Turn on your notifications. Like, share, comment, all the things. You can find all of our links in our link tree in the description below. We love you.
Bye.